In this video, I'm going to be going over the best Season 2 loot spots in DMZ so you can have all the gear and all the money you'd ever need. We're covering brand new secret spots, updates to old spots, so let's get into it. But if you guys find this video useful and you learn something new, and you want to come back for more DMZ content like this, then please subscribe. But our first best loot spot is going to take us to a secret new smuggling tunnel stronghold added to our Mazrah. You'll be able to find it north of Zarqwa Hydroelectric and it'll be marked as a stronghold on the map. But there are 5 different entrances into this stronghold, and as long as you have a key card, this is easily one of the best loot spots in all of our Mazrah right now. You'll fight against your fair share of AI down here, but there are multiple rooms with legendary chests, weapon lockers, normal chests that will give you and your squad everything you need. We're talking 3-plated vests, armor boxes, large backpacks, weapons, and more. Now, this place is labeled the Smuggling Tunnels, and it's part of a early faction mission, so the likelihood of finding other teams here is gonna be high. So it's best to go here at the start of a game as early as possible so that you get all the loot before other teams have a chance. The way we entered the first time, that's the first entrance. Here is the location of the second entrance. Here is the location of the third entrance, which is just to the left of the stronghold icon. And in the main center part of the caves, there's a ladder that will take you into a hut, which is the main stronghold that's marked on the map, where you'll also find some crates. And then the final entrance is right here, where you enter the tunnels using a grappling rope. But that is not the only amazing new loot spot added in our Mazrah, as our next loot spot is going to be the brand new train that's been added for Season 2. This train goes in the opposite direction to the original cargo train and is a lot more like a traditional train, where it will stop at certain stops like a real train would. As you're seeing in the footage, you can see straight away that this has so many more loot chests than the original train has, where you are going to have absolutely everything you'd ever want. We're talking durable gas masks, self-revive kits, 3-plated vests, large backpacks, the lot. And if you manage to spawn in our Mazrah city, the train pulls into the main station there and stops for a brief moment. So if you've spawned there, that's a great timing for you to get on and be one of the first in the game to loot the train before another team does. Furthermore, this train has amazing cover compared to the original train, making distant fights with real players a lot easier because you have so much more cover. Keep your wits about you, as some train carts have holes in the ceiling where real players can jump in to get the drop on you. For the next loot spot, we're going to Ashika Island for what is easily the most valuable duffel bag in all of DMZ, giving you 75k worth of items in just a few seconds. The only caveat is you're going to need to get a specific key called the drifting supply bag key. This is dropped fairly often by HVTs on Ashika Island. If you come across it, extract with it for this amazing spot. But for this, we're going to be diving under the sea just north of Agunaku Farms to find this duffel bag underwater. And inside are 3 masks worth 25k each. The Ashika Mask of Riddles, the Ashika Kitsune, and the Ashika Tengu. These are undoubtedly the most valuable items in the entire DMZ right now. If you have this key and you spawn right by here, it is undoubtedly the quickest way to regain ever in DMZ, letting you buy everything you'd ever need from the buy station and then exfilling straight away. But if you don't have this key, then this next Ashika Island loot spot is perfect. If you make your way down to the waterways and go underwater by the submarine, you'll be able to swim through this underwater pipe. There'll be 2 wires that you can choose to defuse or swim through them and take damage. But once you resurface, you'll be in a little cave where you'll want to jump onto these 2 panels to do some parkour. And then from here onto the third one, you'll be inside this secret bunker where legendary crates await you, as well as weapon lockers. It is a fantastic way to get guaranteed amazing loot on Ashika Island without needing to take in any sort of key. And once you've looted and you're ready to leave, just go towards the bunker doors and they will automatically open. The only downside to the waterways is there is a lot of AI, including 2 juggernauts. So let's move on to the next loot spot. Now with Ashika Island, I like to call it Regainer Island because there are so many strongholds around and AI drops stronghold key cards like they're going out of fashion, and the best places to loot on this map is going to be the strongholds, but there's 2 in particular I want to point out. In the northwest part of the map near Agunaku Farms, you're going to find these 2 strongholds right next to each other. One of them is called the Power Plant, and I reckon that this is probably one of the best strongholds in the whole map. Now it is quite heavily contested by AI, but once you've taken them out, you've got loot crates on this bottom floor here, you've got loot crates on the floor level that you came in at, and there's a ladder to take you up to an office where you're also going to find find more loot. But once you're done, make your way underground and you'll be able to go to a section of tunnels that will lead you into a secret spot above the waterways where there is more loot to be found. And when you're done and want to make your way down to the waterways, you can do so through a zip. Once you've done loot in the power plant, make your way straight here to Ogunaku Farms for this high-rise building here. On the bottom and top floor, you're going to find about 3 rare crates each. And once you've looted the top floor, you can go on the roof to get even more crates up there. From here, you get a great overview of the maps. If you have snipers, you can look out for any real players, as well as the nearest exfil. But this next loot spot is so incredibly good that it is soon going to become the worst kept secret of Season 2. But everyone knows that the Sour Hotel has now been patched. So without the key, you can't go in there and loot, but I found the next best thing. And it's also in Sour Village. If you go over to this part of the map in Sour Village where we have this bank building, you want to go in it and go all the way to the rooftop. From there, you're going to want to run to the left side and we're going to be jumping off the roof into this open window. And this window leads us into the Sour Crypto Mining Room. Normally, you need a key in order to open this, and for some reason with Season 2, what was once a boarded up window is now open and you can get inside. Now, this room has a high chance of a GPU being in one of the computers, but here I found a gold skull, a gold bar, 3-plated vest, a ton of cash. And with this part of the map being generally very quiet, this is a fantastic place to go if you spawn near it at the start of a game. Part of me doesn't want to include it in this video because I know everyone's going to use it. So be sure to take advantage of it now before it gets too popular. For our next loot spot, we're staying on our Mazrah for the good old cargo train. It might not be as good as the brand new train added with Season 2, but the cargo train is still a very reliable loot spot early on in the game and should not be ignored. There are certain spawn points where you're going to be able to board this train within 30 seconds of spawning. And I highly recommend jumping on the train to loot it as quickly as possible before other teams catch on. I don't know if this is because Season 2 is still so new, but I see a lot of players focusing way too much on going on this old train instead of the new train. Now, this next loot spot shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone who's played Ashika Island and gone for the weapon case, but the actual castle itself is a really good loot spot once you've taken out all the AI. And if somehow you still haven't gone in the castle yet and don't know how to do it, then you need to go in the area and take out the Wilson so you can hack the security systems and open the doors to the castle. Once inside, there is going to be a ton of traps, a ton of AI, sentry guns, and the new boss, the bomb maker, on the top floor. Once that's all taken care of, take your time to explore all the rooms in the castle because there is a lot of chests, there's a lot of weapon lockers. I think it's especially worth checking out if another team has already gone in and got the weapon case, because likelihood is they aren't going to be staying there long to loot up because they're going to want to exfil as quick as possible. Now, this next loot spot is a tried and tested area that I always visit if I'm passing in our Mazrah, and it's going to be the hospitals around the map. In this specific example, I'm showing the location at Rohan Oil, but this is amazing to check because most of the time they will have medical cabinets which contain self-revives, self-revive pistols, and gas masks, which are super important for your time in DMZ. And in this spot as well, you can also find the ambulance outside, which has a cabinet which might have an extra self-revive, and there's tents opposite that also contain some medical supplies. Another loot spot checking out in Season 2 on our Mazrah is going to be the denied area in the terminal. I'm sure you all know that a little while ago they patched some of the chests outside, but the inside of the terminal is still incredibly good for loot, with a large amount of legendary crates for you to open, as well as cash registers. Whilst tier 3 AI roam around in here, it's not as bad as I remember it being. Be careful visiting here, as some games the chemist can have the nuclear cloud here, and whilst not all of the terminal is going to be in the gas, there is a later faction mission that requires you to kill the chemist. I've had enemy teams camping by this waiting for players to kill, so just be careful. This next spot is going to be around the Satik Cave complex, and it's these little huts that are all around because they contain a surprising amount of legendary crates. You would not think it looking at it from the map, but yeah, these huts contain quite a lot of legendary crates, and you can soon rack up a ton of cash as well as some valuable loot, although AI around here are particularly vicious, so I would advise that you are prepared with a full team for this area just because you don't know what could go wrong. This next loot spot has been one of my favorites since Season 1, and this is the Yum Yum Burger in Al Mazrah City. This place is great for 2 reasons. There are a ton of cash registers, so that is a lot of easy money, and also a load of fridges containing various rarities of wines. Once you've looted the cash and got these wines, you can take it to a buy station and make some very quick money. Who doesn't like the sound of that? But this last and final loot spot can be this building here in Sarif Bay, and here is a near guaranteed spawn for one of the most elusive items in DMZ, the blowtorch. This has been updated in Season 2 to now be worth 14 grand, and look, there it is, just sitting there on that table stand. There's a chance that you can find up to 3 of them inside of here, but there can be other games where they just won't won't be any blowtorches in there at all. It's just luck of the draw. But if you spawn near here, I definitely think it's worth checking there at least,